Hello there guys, Elita Legionarii here. Today I am bringing you what was surely an epic 3v3 battle, Napoleon Total War on the Italian Grasslands map. I'm playing as the mighty Russians. I am joined by the SwedishLandskekt, who has taken up command of Prussia, and we are also joined by Doc Holliday, who has taken up command of Austria. Now, you may notice that all of us are already in tactical positions, and we're having an artillery duel. That is because this artillery duel went for about 15 minutes, so I'll probably only catch the first five. I've taken out the first sort of 10 minutes of it in favour of, so you don't just sit here and watch ages. It went on for quite a while, so I just didn't want anyone to kind of effectively get bored. So my army consists of, I believe it was 1, 2, 3. I think it was 3 normal standard musketeers, a Moscow musketeer. Then I had the Semenovsky Life Guard, which is one of, is about as good as the old guard. It's like a superb life guard unit. Then I have a standard life guard of foot. My cavalry consists of a life guard hussars. I have, of course, my general, which is Count von Bennigsen, I think that's how you say his name. Then I have 2 units of dragoons, and I have 2 units of mounted rifles. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 units, 3 units of standard Russian Jaegers and 1 17th Jaeger Regiment. The SwedishLandskekt, I've also got the phenomenally great 20-pounder Unicorn howitzer, which is awesome. The SwedishLandskekt he's got 1, 2, he's got Landwehr, he's got general staff there, so he's not got anyone special. He's got some lancers there, and then he's got 3 musketeers in this vicinity. He's got 2 foot guards in the back here. He has the 1st East Prussian Grenadier Battalion, so I'm assuming it's a Grenadier unit, obviously a slightly better one. Got some more lancers, he's got some more musketeers, lancers. Then he's got 4 Silesian shoots, and then he's got 6-pounder horse artillery up there. I think that's everything of his. I don't see anything else. Then Doc Holliday has now got, he's got 4 units of German Fusilier. That's an interesting choice. I'd usually go with the Hungarian if I were him. He's got Hungarian Grenadier up there, because if these German ones have got pretty bad morale, but he might have had a specific plan. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got 3 units of Jaegers and then 1 Windbush Jaeger. He's got Cav. He's got the Cuirassier, Archduke Ferdinand Cuirassier. Am I missing anything else? And then he's got 2 more Cuirassier and Joseph L. Vinci as his general. Then he's got the 47th Czech Regiment, Archduke Charles Legion, and I suspect he might have the other unit. Or maybe not. Maybe it's hidden. I'm not sure. They are advancing now, so I'm just going to slow it down a bit. Doc, and most actions, mostly just been artillery bombardments from me and Swedes versus Portugal and France over there. So there's been a few tussles over this building, which is on fire here, between Doc and Vladek, or Khalid ibn al-Walid, but Vladek is what we call him. So he's got 2 rifles here. Then I see a unit of foot out here. The King's German Legion Light Dragoons out there. He's got 88th Foot Konar Rangers, and then foot, King's German Legion foot, Invincibles, which is a militia unit, foot, for a Highland foot, another foot there. Then he's got a 6-pounder horse artillery, King's German Light Legion Dragoons again, and a 15th Hussar. Oh, what's this? There's a 6-pounder artillery as well. And he's trying to outflank Doc here. Don't think I've missed anything of his forces there. Then, taking up the centre was the Iron Price. He was in command of France. He had some militia in here, and I believe he had a light infantry unit that we routed a little bit earlier on. All the Swedes were routed earlier on. Here's some Fusilier of the line. He's got 2 of those there. His general's a plain staff. He's got a Chasseur Cheval, 2 units of Swiss foot. Then he's got some, Voltigeur, 2 Voltigeur there. He's got a 12-pounder foot artillery there. Then he's got Swiss foot, the Old Guard, Dutch Grenadiers, and more Swiss foot. I think that's everything. Okay, then there's the Feudal Lord. Oh, wait a minute, sorry. I missed 2 units of Polish Guard. No, Dutch and a Polish Guard Lance, some pretty awesome Lancer units. Then, of course, there's the Feudal Lord using his favourite faction, Portugal. He has, let's see, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 units of Tiradores, which is a light skirmisher. He's put stakes down here, but he's going to attack. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units of infantry. Then he's got a 12-pounder foot artillery there, and I think he had another artillery somewhere else as well. Okay, maybe he doesn't. I'm sure he did though. Then he's got some more infantry up here, 3 more infantry up there. Then he's got some grenadiers there, and then he's got some more grenadiers over here, and some Portuguese cavalry. Portugal's not very great chaos, so it's better to just go more infantry. Okay, so by this stage we're probably a good 20 minutes into this battle before anything really happened. So these guys got bored of waiting. Now, we were considering attacking, but what ended up happening is we drew into the artillery battle so long that Swedish-Landskekt decided he'd go and do his laundry, of all things. So we had to wait for him to do his laundry, so we said, right, we're not going to attack until he's back. And for us, they started advancing, and at this stage he wasn't back from his laundry, so we were really worried that he wouldn't be back in time to defend his army. But fortunately, just as they were sort of getting close, he arrived to command, and I mean, he had time to go do his laundry, so that tells you how long this battle was. So, what I'm doing is I'm targeting infantry units with my 20-pounder Unicorn. Unicorn's like the best howitzer in the game, pretty much. But I find howitzers are absolutely wonderful at killing infantry, whereas normal artillery is much better on cavalry. I only recently learnt that though. But this 20-pound Unicorn does really, really nice work, as they always tend to do if they're used properly. So they're kind of steadily advancing along our flank. Over here, Doc is in some skirmish with some of these fencibles here. That's probably more of a meat shield there from Vladek. Here Doc's got his Windbushager here and on the flank trying to get some shots. However, you want to be very careful with that. It's an extremely expensive unit with very limited ammo, and I don't recommend you let it go into a normal skirmish duel with anyone. You want to put it somewhere where it can sort of snipe some shots and you can protect it and retreat it and use it in that. If it can be somewhere hidden while it's doing it, that's very handy, because otherwise you're just wasting an extremely expensive, valuable unit. But he's just skirmishing away. As you can see, the fight has not really begun on our side, but it will soon. I do apologise to probably mostly Doc if I miss sections of his fights. I do not know whether the SwedishLandskekt will upload this. I know Doc forgot to save the replay, so he probably won't. As you can see, Vladek's actually got kind of like a flanking procedure going on here, so Doc's probably going to have to disengage from this and reformate his lines. When this game started, we rushed up to the centre here to take these high ground positions. As you can see, Swede has got a really good defensive position there. Stakes set, his artillery set, and then we've got the trees on the side. I decided to deploy in such a way that I was close to support SwedishLandskekt on his right, and also use the trees as a area cover from artillery fire. So for the meantime, it's just bombardments going on. At this stage though, they approach, and he's only got one of his Tiradores here, so I'm going to open up with my 17th Jaegers and my standard Russian Jaegers here, and we're going to get some nice shots. So I got 2 for 1 there. Similar stuff's going on here for the SwedishLandskekts, Schlesien-Schützen. Better positioning. They're probably a slightly longer range than the Voltigeurs, so I've only got 100. Voltigeurs are very strong and do inflict a lot of damage, so once they get into range you've got to be careful when dealing with them. Don't believe anything's started on the other side just yet, on my major side, but for now it's just some skirmish, and we easily start winning this fight. So they start bringing up a couple of these infantry here, so they're going to try and bust through this section, but using Portugal, he's really underestimating my musketeers and lifeguard here, so I'm just going to continue opening up fire on them. Some nice close-ups here. I do believe I'm trying to catch everyone's fights. Appears that these chasseurs Cheval charged in to Doc Holliday's Archduke Legion here, but I think he's going to force it out. As you can see, we're just skirmishing away on our side. As a Swedish Landsknekt from up here. Some artillery fire coming in, possibly concentrating on that building, depending on what quality the units are in there. But for now, my lifeguard and my guys open up, and my guys are going to turn his Portuguese infantry into Swiss cheese, or Portuguese cheese in this case. We really choke pointed these areas, so they can only go straight into us. Certainly playing defence is probably easier for newer players like us when it comes to Napoleon. As you can see, some more of these Silesian shoots coming in. I've got to say Vladek did a nice job though, because he's kind of like encircling onto the flank here, advancing up here. As you can see, the iron price is kind of everywhere on the map, in the centre, out the flanks, everything. Here, Swedes has a nice charge with one of his Brandenburg Lance, which I didn't actually catch. Oops, sorry. And he's going to keep charging, causing disruption. And he also sends in, I send in my lifeguard hussars to help him. So we cause a ton of disruption on this infantry, which is great, and we're able to rout it. So what we're trying to do here is, we'll fix in the centre here, rout the side, and then outflank Feudal's forces. So over here, I've begun the missile duel. My Russian Jaegers have got lots of cover here. Probably line of sight's not great because of all the trees, but it does allow me to take some pot shots. And it's a pretty even fight there. So I'm going to advance up here. I'm going to try and keep to cover if possible. As you can see, the iron price is coming, but this defensive position that's controlled by Swedes is very difficult for him. Unfortunately for Swedes, these artillery glitched, so he couldn't deploy them properly. He did have them deployed at the start, because he could have been using canister shot here and it would have mass routed them way sooner. Because now he's got these Swiss foot into range. Some nice stuff here. So I'm trying to catch everyone's fight. It is kind of tricky to do so in a 3v3, but at least with Napoleon you have a bit more time to do so. Here these French guys were forced into square by the Feudal Lancers, which is very helpful, but they're going to get shot at some shots in there. Over here, me and Swedes charge into the back of these infantry, and we're doing a lot of damage. Someone's general just died. I believe it was the Iron Price. He's lost his general. As you can see, Mother Russia is coming in on the flank here, while the Fatherland strikes up the centre. Oh no, I'm full of crap. Talking rubbish. At this stage, I'm just willing to stall Portugal, to be honest. I'm just going to let him come at me. I've got shrapnel shot on here. It's slightly out of range, but it will still inflict, because in Napoleon you can fire a little bit and be slightly out of range. I know that not shrapnel shot, sorry, canister shot. I always get them muddled. Our cav did get destroyed, but it did severely damage quite a lot of his infantry on the flank here. And at this stage, we're concentrating on the old guard. I want to get rid of the old guard, so I've got my lifeguards and musketeers in firing range, although apparently my lifeguard weren't quite in range there, so whether I noticed that or not, I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. Between my Russian Jaegers and my musketeer here, 3 versus 1, even the old guard can't really stand up to that, even though it is like the best guard unit. At this stage, I believe there was a cav strike, and I put these guys into squares, but I didn't really protect my artillery very well, so nice move there by the Feudal Lord. He is going to get rid of my 20-pound unicorns, which have been harassing him all the fight. However, I decided to make a counter strike on this side and go after his Portuguese cav and disrupt his infantry. Of course, Russian infantry is very good in the melee, so if I could force a melee at some point, it'd be really good. As you can see up here, Swedes is easily just kind of ripping through these French infantry, because they're just in a much worse position. I am easily able to destroy these old guards and Dutch grenadiers out here pretty quickly. Swedes is going to get out to the flank with some of his Silesian shoots in. Out here, it's still mostly just skirmishing between Doc and Vladek. But Vladek's got some angles on Doc. Doc doesn't have as much angles. So I'm saying the battle's pretty even at this stage, but it was looking really good on our flanks, so all we told Doc to do was just hold it, just like stall him while we win our flanks. I'm using my cav to get around behind him. Harry, I made a bit of a mistake there. I got my guys clustered when I shot, so some of them have kind of killed themselves, which is really stupid. Over here I've gone to his infantry again, caused some disruption, so I can push up over here and get some free shots with my musketeers. I put my Szymanowski lifeguard out here so I can get some cross shots into this. Over here, some of these Portuguese cav did catch me unawares. and my square was not formed in time. But this unit will continue to fire, and I can outdo it because I also forced this unit here. He doesn't get square in time, so they're going to take some losses. So it's kind of just a bit of a battle between who can work quicker. But as you can see, I cheer through the old guard and the Dutch grenadiers on this flank, and Swedes has easily got his French player handled. We rushed up to get the centre. They didn't rush, they just sat at the start. We took the centre, got those defensive hills, and it allows us to play a much more defensive game. We would have probably attacked. I mean, I always like to attack in games, but to be honest, with the Swedes away doing his laundry for so long, we didn't want to risk it. So you can see Vladek has done some really nice work. He's got some flanking positions, so docks in crossfire, so even like this very expensive 47th Czech regiment's taking some serious losses. His Jaegers are holding in. His Archduke Charles Legion is still pretty good, and he's got the German Fusilier. I really probably wouldn't suggest using the Fusilier. I mean, they're effective enough, but their morale is not very good. I would suggest the Hungarian ones. They're just better, a wee bit more reliable, because Austria doesn't always have the greatest infantry to work with there. So here he charges at my Jaegers. I didn't actually notice this at this stage, but they will be getting shot by my musketeers, so I should be able to rout them anyway. So at this stage, my Szymanowski Life Guard, I love this unit. This is, in my opinion, it's as good as the old guard, or if it's not, it's like a tiny smidgen underneath it. It's a very, very good piece of guard unit there. And we're just skirmishing with these guys here, and I can win this fight because I've got better units in the vicinity. I don't think Portugal's, this Lifeguard, the Szymanowski Lifeguard's much better, and my musketeer's decent enough. And if he decides to melee with me, Russian infantry is like some of the best melee infantry in the game. So any melee fight I get into, I'm bound to do extremely well, which is really good. So over here, as you can see, we've destroyed this section here and I'm outflanking. Swedes will send his army to go and help Doc, because Doc is having a bit of trouble on this flank, because he's not really able to support it because Vladek's put enough men here to fix him, and this flank's getting a wee bit destroyed here because of these good angles that Vladek's put on him. But Swedes has done really well in his centre. He can go help him, and I've got things in hand with the Feudal Lord. He keeps using Portugal, and I know he loves it because of like Medieval 2. It's his favourite faction, Medieval 2. But it's probably one of the much weaker factions in Napoleon Total War. But I mean, we all have our favourites. But I definitely have the better faction. So as you see in the melee fight, his infantry is no match for my Russian musket. This is my Moscow musketeer, I think. Is it my Moscow musketeer? Yes, my Moscow musketeer. So it's even better than my standard musketeers. So these Russians do a really, really nice job. This was just a thoroughly enjoyable battle. I'm shifting around the flanks here, trying to get some kills here. I didn't quite notice with my lifeguard foot here that, like, if you look at this line of sight, there's this mound that's actually in the way, and I think I do eventually notice it, so I kind of shift things further around. But over here, between my normal musketeer and my 17th Jaeger regiment, I am steadily wearing that unit down, and of course the pressure's on this unit really badly because it's got this Jaeger and this musketeer and now this Szymanowski Lifeguard coming in. Swede sent one of his Landwehr to help me, militia unit, and I must admit I always thought the Landwehr looked really cool with their coats, even though they are only militia. As you can see, I easily destroy this unit with my Moscow musketeer, and I'm just going to keep pushing on the flanks to disrupt them so I can get free shots without having any concerns. Moving on to this flank, as you can see, it's mostly just been skirmish on this fight. Vladek's been a little more cautious than his two allies, and I think it's paid off for him. He's done much better against Doc than they did against us. But he's getting some crossfire on this King's German Legion. Now he decides to push forward. He needs to actually attack and destroy Doc now before Swedes can come and reinforce Doc's army. So I was impressed though with Vladek, because I mean, one other game I remember playing with Vladek, he just rushed, and he rushed straight in front of all my guns and between Feudal's guns, and got himself destroyed. So he was probably getting impatient though, whereas in this fight he was much more steady. So here I just decided to charge, as is always the case. Russian infantry is superb in the melee, and it's not too bad with the gun as well. So as you can see, I do move my lifeguard a bit, but I think it's probably just hitting this mound, to be honest, at this stage, which is a bit disappointing, but it doesn't really matter. Sometimes you don't notice that when you're doing what you're doing. So here we see a cav charge from these King's German Legion Light Dragoons rather, into these German Fusilier. And that'll do a lot of damage to those German Fusilier because they're not particularly great, but he kind of just disengages here and he allows them to get shot at more. But Doc, for the most part, he's doing better now because he's kind of put some more pressure on the flanks, which allowed him to push forward, get better angles. He's still taking some pretty nasty losses, but is dishing out in pretty equal measure now. Swedes is there to assist him. So Doc's going to charge his German Fusilier into these foot. I remember cautioning him in the video against this because British foot's going to easily destroy German Fusilier. If you're using Austria, you don't want to get into protracted melee fights or anything like that because they're just not as good. So I'm not really sure what he was doing that for because he's going to, as you can see, he's already down to 90 men. Look how quickly those numbers are going down. These Great Britain's foot will do much better. So I'm not really sure why he did that. He had the high ground. He probably could have done alright there in that fight. So it probably wasn't a very good move on Doc's part there, to be honest. But it doesn't really matter because Swedes is in, because Foot Guard's coming in now, so they can help him. And Swedes is coming in behind. Over on my flank, I sent one of my musketeers in to engage this unit in the melee, and shooting that last Portuguese unit. And that's basically my flank completed. So I'm sending here's a unit of my 17th Russian Jaeger, I think that is. No, my Russian Jaegers are over. So as you can see, these Austrian units quickly get destroyed. And as you can see, these British units are still in very good numbers, so you shouldn't do that. Swedes does send his foot guards in now though, and this will be a different story. These foot guards are very good in the melee, and they will quite comfortably destroy them. He does open a few shots up here at first, which probably wasn't a good idea really because these Hungarian Grenadiers are in now. These Hungarians are Grenadier units, so they will do good against the foot. As you can see, here's a Highland foot. That'll be a very good melee unit. That would have done very well, but at this stage there's nowhere to go. Swedes is on the flank, and Vladek is getting pincered to death. Doc is still holding him up over here nicely with the Archduke's Charles Legion and some German Fusilier. It was very, very nicely done there while they just worked together and quickly destroyed everything here. He sends his Cuirassier in, and this is a beautiful melee fight. Hopefully that's not too loud that you can't hear me. If I'm speaking too loud, it might be just because it sounds really loud from here. An awesome fight there though. This was absolutely superb. As you can see, I've finished my fight, so just to stay up here actually. Swedes sent a unit of his, I believe that was his first, it was his specialty unit, the Grenadier Battalion. The first Prussian Grenadier Battalion. It's a militia unit, so that's a foregone conclusion. Vladek holding up to the very bitter end, like a true badass, like a true British soldier for Great Britain, for the Queen, for Her Majesty. But it's not going to be enough. Although in this case it might be His Majesty. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who the king was at this period. I think it was a male. You can quote me on that if I'm wrong. But there's nothing he can do. He's in crossfire. Plenty of melee going on here, and these Prussian foot guards and the Cuirassier together is one hell of a combination. There's some Grenadiers in there as well, so that is going to be absolutely brutal. He sends the rest of his guys in. British guys are always British infantry is very good at melee fighting. Here is the General Staff coming in, trying to support them in close, but it's too little too late. Doc's going to be able to come in from behind and get some shots, and of course he's getting sandwiched and pincered by these Prussian units over here. And I've got men on the way if anything were to go pear-shaped, which is not going to, or pear-shaped, whatever the saying is. But let's just enjoy some beautiful close-ups. Look at those wonderful hats. Man, this game's just so awesome. So many awesome graphics, and look at these wonderful uniforms. Everything just feels so nice and awesome, and it's epic. It's just beautiful. And as you can see, these foot are actually winning in a lot of their battles. Well, it says they are, but so are the foot guards. I suspect the foot guards will win because they're a guard unit, but honestly, it's just truly, a beautiful game. Graphically, it's fairly old now. I think that was, yeah, that's the last of the troops breaking, so it's a fairly oldish game. Not old, definitely not old, but it's older than, like, you know, it's a few games older than the Total War series, but it still looks so good. And there you go, there are the statistics. So I come up with the most kills, 1,247, but my allies easily did their part, 1,072 for Swedes and 1,068 for Doc. So I mean, we all got over 1,000, which means very concentrated teamwork there. It was an absolutely fantastic and wonderful game to play. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. Losses, Doc did take the most losses. Me and Swedes lost between 500-600 each in that vicinity, but Doc did take quite a lot of losses. From their side, clearly Vladek was the only one who probably really kind of used the angles and positioning. They kind of, both the other two kind of just went straight into us, but we had a much really defensible locations. We had the choke points, the high ground, everything on our side. So me and Swedes were able to easily overwhelm that particular section of the fight. So as a result, it really just went our way there. But 978, there's some pretty high kills for Vladek, very well done, and Feudal Lord did pretty well against me with 608. But the Iron Price, he was trying to do support role in the centre, but it just didn't work. If we look at my unit statistics, I can't show you everyone else's, but I mean, a lot of units got over 100 kills for me, a good 6, I think it got 7 of them actually. 169 for the Moscow Musketeers, that got into the melee, got some good shots and a great unit. And look at the Semenoski Lifeguard, only took 3 losses and took out 149 enemy units. That is an awesome guard unit. I consider it to be as good as the old guard, to be honest. It's absolutely awesome. 17th Jaeger Regiment there, 147, that's a very awesome skirmish unit. But these Musketeers, they sure put up their fight, 136. Look at the Unicorn, 108, 113. This unit's phenomenal. It's actually a bit OP as far as artillery goes. Awful when you're facing it and they're on a really good high hill position. It's a nightmare. It is so great at killing infantry, and when you use the targeting ability and all that, you can just absolutely put some beautiful damage down with those. All how, you know, good, any howitzer that's got the percussion or the explosive shot and the targeting ability is awesome at killing infantry, and the Unicorn's just the best at it. It's absolutely legendary. And then these Russian Jaegers, my Musketeers, all of them getting up there in the 100. And this Lifeguard Hussar was destroyed, but 74 kills for a cavalry is always very good. Mounted Rifles 49. The Lifeguard Foot 48. To be honest, that didn't take many losses, but it could have got a lot more kills if I put it in a better position. I didn't realise it was not always shooting, or it was either had terrain in its line of sight. So that would have got a lot more kills as well. But very few losses, and it's an awesome unit as well. But basically everything under here didn't do as well. They didn't do terrible either, to be honest. I didn't actually take that many losses. And I suspect there'd be, I'd say, a fair few kills for those foot guards for Swedes. And I'd say that Archduke Charles Legion and the 47th Regiment for Doc did pretty well as well. Probably some of those Cuirassiers as well. And all in all, though, this was a superb game. So Doc and of course Swedes have their channels, so I will link them. Obviously Doc won't upload it because he accidentally clicked the tick before he could save it, which he was a bit frustrated himself for, but it's easily done. But Swedes, he did save it. I don't know when or if he's going to upload it. He might do. He might be able to catch more bits of his fight. I tried catching everyone's fight, so hopefully everyone got kind of an even balance of what's going on there. But overall, a superb game. Great game to SwedishLandskekt, Doc Holliday, the Feudal Lord, the Iron Price, and Vladek. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Many thanks for playing, guys. Hope you guys have enjoyed watching it, and I will be bringing you some more Napoleon soon. So see you soon next time.